Chapter 20. Talk of the Town. The biggest rapper in Yonkers was a light-skinned pretty boy named Bill Blast. Bill was flashy. He always liked to stay dipped in nice outfits, and since his father was a hustler, he had the game and the confident attitude that gave him a lot of luck with the girls. Bill made a name for himself by emceeing at parties throughout the city, and almost every weekend he performed at a downtown club called Brown Eyes with his partner Cloud. He didn't have a recording contract and his songs were never played on the radio. But in Yonkers, a small town that masqueraded as a big city, being a local star was almost like being a national hero. Everyone knew your name and made sure to give you that respect when you passed them on the street. Bill Blast was D-Mac's cousin. After he heard about my battle with Mac on the mixtape, it didn't take long for him to call me out, and him and his boys found me one afternoon in front of my grandmother's house. Bill wasn't a stranger to battles. He loved to drive through Yonkers, see someone chilling somewhere, then pull up and kick a song he wrote called Jumping MCs at him. It was like how I used to get down in the street, but Bill drove instead of walked. His car was never stolen. Used the camcorder to tape the whole scene and brought his friends for backup instead of a dog. Yo, we're jumping MCs, X. You say you're a dog, but you must be a bitch. You too, Collie J. You're next because your nephew ain't shit. Me, Collie, and these two girls had been chilling on the block when we saw their car screech up. Bill caught me off guard, and maybe it was the camcorder he had running in my face or something because I didn't respond. I just stood there sucking my teeth like, you fucking clown. But a few days later, Kaysen told me that Bill was talking shit and was showing a tape of them rolling up on me all over the hood. So now I knew I had to say something. I had heard Bill's rhymes before and knew I could easily beat him in a battle. But I couldn't deny how popular he was. Those who had heard my tapes felt I was the best. But I was still the dirty underground rapper from School Street. Bill Blast had the parties and the hype and the fancy name, so I knew it would be close. Fuck that, I said to Kason. Tell your man Bill he can't fuck with me. So it was arranged that in 2 weeks, in the gymnasium of School 12, DMX the Great would take on Bill Blast. Those next 14 days felt like an entire summer. If it wasn't the flyers Kason was putting up, advertising the party on every corner, it was the mixtapes. Before the battle, Bill must have made at least 4 or 5 songs that called me out by name, and I heard them everywhere I went. In stores, from boomboxes on the corner, out of cars. The battle became the most hyped party of the year. It was a Friday night. Collie and Buzzy made sure everybody from Warburton Avenue and Ravine were coming to the show. I had already told all the heads from School Street and Slow Bomb, and when I got to the front of the spot, I must have had about 20 people with me. But I told them all to go in ahead of me. I wanted to walk in on my own. I was wearing a black hoodie, black jeans, and a pair of buttercolored Tims with some black shades. Straight business. I could tell from the amount of people outside that the gym was probably crowded, but I didn't imagine how completely packed it was until I walked in. People were everywhere, pushed together along the walls, standing on the bleachers. Some kids were actually hanging from the supports of the basketball hoops to try to see better. There was no stage in School 12, just a table they put in the middle of the floor where a DJ was set up. Kaysen was at the door collecting the money, and Kali and some of my other uncles were in the center of the gym trying to clear a space. I just walked directly through everybody and went straight up to Bill. He had on a red corduroy suit with a red patch corduroy shirt and a big hat. He had a water gun in his left hand and was already talking shit on the mic. He must have thought this was a fucking circus. Who do you want to go first? He asked me when he saw me. I don't give a fuck. Let's just get it on, baby. Blast went first. As he rhymed, I couldn't take my eyes off this big hairy mole that he had on his face. It must have been the size of a quarter. But when he finished, I knew I had him. Bill Blast was saying the same everyday shit. I started with what had become my signature intro. I'm the dopest of the dope, the unstoppable preacher of rap, the original author of Spellbound, the motherfucking pimp, DMX the Great, and I'm not to be fucked with because I'm deadly with a motherfucking mic. Then I went straight to the disrespectful material. I personalized it by talking about his sister. Pink and black lip, brick oven butt bitch. When I watch her butt switch, it makes my nuts itch. So I fuck the hooker every time I look her in her motherfucking face. It makes me mad I ever took her. People started yelling like crazy. It was a prize fight. Madison Square Garden, heavyweight championship of the world. Back up, give them room. Everybody started yelling. I just kept going and going. Earlier that day, I had written a song about Yonkers that I knew I could use to get the whole crowd with. School streets schooling, Riverdale's rolling, cottages cooling, slow bombs swollen. Nobody's hurting Warburton. Ain't no joke. Mess around with Mulford Gardens, you're bound to get smoked. It was over. I successfully shut down the biggest MC in Yonkers. Me, DMX the Great, a bum nigga with no haircut, the robbing and stealing problem child who couldn't stay out of juvenile and jail and group home. I bet, I bet that bitch Daphne would in front of me now. After the battle, Bill got on the mic and started talking about unity. Now he want the two of us to piece it up. Yeah, right. Not when I just shitted on you. There's no unity here tonight, motherfucker. You lost. You lost, and I'm out. All of my peoples from School Street left the party with me. As we walked back to the block, they spread the news to everybody. Yo, how did it go? What? You weren't there? Man, DMX killed him. We walked down Ashburton Avenue, through Cottage and Mulford Gardens before ending up outside of my grandmother's house on Warburton. Everybody was open. I was the talk of the town. Kaysen spent the whole next day dubbing the tape he had made off the battle. So by Saturday evening, everyone in the city was listening to how I murdered Bill Blast. Then by Sunday afternoon, everyone wanted a rematch. This time, instead of letting Kaysen get all of the money, I promoted the battle myself, finally convincing Mrs. Gaines to let me throw a party at Nepperhan. I got manager Jack to watch the door for me and made sure we got everybody's money before I even went on stage. Get upstairs, Earl, Mrs. Gaines yelled at me when she found me in the basement counting money at about midnight. I also had these two girls on my lap and I was smoking a Philly blunt. The whole basement was fogged up. Okay, Mrs. Gaines, I'm coming now. I was chilling. Everyone from Yonkers came to the rematch, but there were also heads there from Mount Vernon and New Rochelle. I guess the word had gotten out about DMX the Great. One reason I knew the party was the place to be was because Kaysen told me this girl that I knew from Slow Bomb was upstairs leaning against the speaker wearing a big pair of bangle earrings. Her name was Mary, and she was the shit around the way because she had just put out her first song called You Remind Me. Bill didn't wear his red outfit this time, and he had written some new material, but it was clear that his era was over. I'm the type of guy you catch cooling with your girl. Those that know me well choose to call me Earl. Simmons, the women's. I ripped that over Dance to the Drummer's Beat, and the pretty and fly Bill Blast became nothing more than Barbecue Bill from Locust Hill. I was on top of the world. It's almost 11 p.m. now on this hot Arizona evening, and DMX decides he wants to hit the club. It doesn't take long for local folks to get hip to the fact that there's a superstar in town. Besides a few ball players and the golfers in their khakis and plaids who come around for the various PGA events, Phoenix, Arizona doesn't get too many celebrities. So because X had already made a few nights worth of appearances at his local bar, it doesn't surprise anyone in the crew that the spot is flooded with the best and the brightest of what this Western community has to offer. All the local college frat boys All the local college frat boys are in the place, as are the thugs from the poorer sides of town. The wannabe MCs and the 30 something party people whose outfits lag behind everyone else's fashion by at least a season and a half. Then there are the girls, mostly white, some brown, some light skinned, dressed in different combinations of stiletto boots and almost see the crack of your ass jeans that they must have seen on TV that day. Posted at the pool table In the center of the club's VIP room, X challenges anyone willing to bet $20 on a game. But just as he finds a partner who looks willing to double his losses as long as he wants to play, the dozens of fans that have surrounded his table begging for hugs and pictures and autographs start to become unmanageable. One girl, almost choking with excitement, pushes past security and tells him that all she wants to do is touch his head. On that note, it's time to leave. I love the love, I really do, X says after has retreated to his car and is safely behind a set of dark tinted windows. But often, it's way too much for me. It's like you grow up being a certain person, and whoever that person is, you know that person. Then you're given something that you've always wanted, but so many things change, and that makes you almost uncomfortable with yourself. I never got any of this attention before, and it gets hard because there are less cracks in the wall now, less hiding places where I can just be me. I felt safer then. It's like there is a certain security in no one giving a fuck about you. X stares out onto the street. I need a drink, he says wearily, reminded that amidst the commotion, he left his bucket of ice cold Heinekens inside the club. You think I can cash some of my love in for a fucking drink?